I remember the day the sky turned heavy and the streets fell silent. The shock left a hush over our neighborhood, and for a long while the only sound was the slow, stubborn drip of rain from broken roofs. Hope felt fragile, like a candle struggling against wind. Still, somewhere beneath the rubble of fear and loss, a small voice kept saying we could do this together. The crisis arrived without warning and left everything rearranged. Homes were damaged, livelihoods interrupted, and familiar routines dissolved into uncertainty. People moved through the days with hollow eyes and careful steps, carrying grief like a weight on their shoulders. Food lines formed, children clung to adults who themselves were clinging to the next breath. In those first weeks, survival was the only plan anyone could hold. One evening, under the dim light of a borrowed generator, I called a meeting at the ruined community hall. A handful of neighbors came at first, an elderly woman with a blanket wrapped tight, a young father with soot on his hands, a teacher who had lost her classroom. We shared what we had: a few cans of food, a tarp, a promise to check on the elderly. The meeting was small and messy, but it was the first time many of us had spoken about anything other than immediate needs. That night, conversation became the first brick in a new foundation. Hope returned not as a grand revelation but as a single, ordinary moment. A volunteer from a nearby town arrived with tools and a smile, and she stayed to help fix a leaking roof. A teenager who had been silent for days picked up a hammer and began to clear debris from the playground. A neighbor who had been too proud to ask for help accepted a warm meal and, with tears, admitted he could not do it alone. In those small acts, hands offered, stories shared, burdens divided, people began to feel seen again. That realization, that we were not alone, shifted the mood from despair to possibility. We organized ourselves into teams: shelter repairs, food distribution, child care, and later, skills workshops. The community center, once a pile of splintered wood, became our project and our symbol. We worked in the heat and the rain, trading stories and songs between tasks. Local artisans taught carpentry and sewing. The teacher turned a cleared room into a makeshift classroom. The young father started a small market where neighbors could trade goods and services. Each repaired wall and each shared meal stitched us back together a little more tightly. Months later, the community center opened with a simple ribbon of cloth and a crowd that laughed and cried at the same time. It housed a pantry, a counseling corner, and a small co-op where people sold what they could make. Children ran through the courtyard like they had reclaimed a lost world. The center became a hub for healing and for new opportunities: microloans, training sessions, and a weekly storytelling night where people told the stories that had kept them going. Rebuilding hope after devastation is not a single act but a series of choices: to show up, to listen, to share what little we have, and to believe that small efforts compound into real change. The crisis taught us how fragile life can be and how resilient we are when we stand together. We learned that hope is not a passive wish but a practice, one that grows when people reach across fear and say, "I will help you carry this." In the end, the community that rose from the wreckage was not the same as before. It was kinder, more connected, and more intentional. We had lost much, but we had also discovered a deeper capacity for care. Choosing hope did not erase the pain, but it gave us a path forward, one step, one conversation, one repaired roof at a time.